a Dutch IT consultant came to me and said, well, it's great what you're doing, and it's amazing that you've had such incredible political impact, but I am a technical person. I don't understand what it is that's going to make this impact, what the zeitgeist is in the media at that moment. How can I contribute the right thing to this? I have a lot of access as an IT consultant. I'm an insider in many organizations. But how do I know what to give you? Do you have a list? And we didn't have a list. But I thought it was actually a really good idea that we did have a list. So now we have a list. Not perfect, but pretty good. And Daniel is going to tell you about this list.
Okay. So, as Julian said before, we thought it is important to understand. I mean, we're getting a lot of information about the problems that exist in our world, and we started it would be good to get a sample of what are the documents that all these organizations out there want to defend freedom of speech, to defend human rights, and all these interests that we have for the common good of the world. So we put out a call asking for the most wanted documents of these organizations in the world. So what we can see from the list we have compiled is, for one, we have found out what areas we can reach in the world. So we now know from all these countries, or from the people that have given us feedback, what countries reach our messages if we're offering our helps. We also have a sort of a sample, a cross-section of real-world problems, tangible problems. So each problem or each document described is very specific. We also have a lot of examples of unsuccessful sourcing. So these are all documents that within the last years or even decades, organizations have been trying to source. Journalists have tried to source. In the example of Guantanamo, these manuals that we published, the ACLU had been trying to get these manuals for many, many years. And when we published the Guantanamo manuals a few weeks later, the ACLU actually, after years, received their copy under the Freedom of Information Act, and it was redacted. So they did not even get the full copy, and it was only a reaction to the fact that we had published the full thing that they did get anything at all. So it's a lot of organizations out there, people out there fighting for a good cause, that know that there is a certain specific document that they need, but they don't know how to get their hands on it, and this is what we're trying to assist. So, in many cases, after years of desperate searches. Also, these are guidelines, as Julian said, these are guidelines for anyone who wants to know what information actually would be useful. So anyone that has access to information for whatever reason, that is an insider working in a corporation or a government, can look at this list and maybe will find a document that he or she can source and maybe out of a moral calling submit to WikiLeaks. The list is, this is a screenshot on the left-hand side from the index of the list. So in total, we have 33 countries in the list that have contributed their documents. I know it's not really readable very well, but if you go to the wiki, you can see that. The top country with most submissions was the United States. I assume it is because we have a lot of readers in the United States and we're very popular, and as with anything else that we do in the project, the more people know about what we're doing, the more people actually also would involve and deliver this information or put themselves on that list. So, but just to have that mentioned. The term censorship was mentioned in 11 descriptions, so we can see that this is one of the stronger topics. 11 documents are also finance related, so there's a lot of people that are interested in specific financial details of transactions or whatever dealings within corporations or governments. 12 of them are contract related, so they are in many cases related to contracts for the United States military, for example, or also related to a lot of countries where foreign countries drill for oil, for example, or other countries where there's situations where water is being privatized in South America and people want to know what specific contracts have been made between them and the government. These are a few examples. So we have examples from open government and corporate transparency issues. One of the files that was requested for Germany is our current Chancellor's Stasi files, which I guess everybody would really like to see. In Bahrain, there are some demography issues, for example. So there are no known numbers of how many foreign people are let into the country. So the Bahraini citizens are interested in this. We have requests about human rights abuse and torture. So especially for Guatemala, we have a lot of examples where the CIA has been very active in the 80s, and people would like to see certain documents on plans that the Americans have pursued in Guatemala. We have development and environmental issues. So there's oil exploitation contracts in Madagascar. We have the Isuzu challenge in Mexico, which according to some sources is a cover-up for something like eco-piracy, where people drive into some eco-protected area and start pirating the nature. From Rwanda, we have there are documents on government payments made to a military person where people would like to know what this was about. Others are about citizen and media freedoms. So we have internet surveillance in Colombia. We have a lot of Stasi background from Germany, as well as various citizen freedom files. Then there's Puerto Rico with FBI surveillance. So it's a mixed bag of all sorts of areas that we can cover with this list. And then, as Julian pointed out, there is the big issue of censorship that we have right now. So documents have been requested for China, the UK, Germany, Australia, and Italy. So as one follow-up, because we don't have the time to talk about this list in specific and to talk about the censorship issue, we will have a podium discussion about censorship, which is going to happen on Saturday. So on Saturday, when everything's over, it's on Friday. This is still the wrong slide. It's on Friday, so tomorrow at 11 o'clock, 11 p.m., so after the last talk in track 2 in the tent over there, we'll be having a podium discussion. We're still collecting a few people that we think are important to represent experts or specialists in that field, and we would like to openly discuss with anyone in the audience what we can do to counter this problem that we're all facing in Germany or throughout Europe, throughout the world. It's not specifically restricted to internet censorship, but I think this is what it boils down to for most information media. We believe that we all need one strong voice globally against censorship, and we also believe that each one of you has a responsibility to become part of this global voice. So whoever feels that his freedom of speech and freedom of expression are an important topic should please join us for this talk in the other track. Tonight at 2300, so the same time as tomorrow, we will here have a follow-up on the most wanted leaks. So anyone out there who really feels that he has talent, that he is smart, and that he can take up a challenge, we would like to offer you some perspective of how you can successfully help, tangibly help bettering our world, involving in our project, and maybe help spreading some of the truth that we all are seeking for. So whoever is free tonight, not too drunk by 11 o'clock, is welcome to come around. And I hope that we can then maybe talk about some of the most wanted leaks, how to successfully source documents, where actually these documents can be found, who can be approached, what kind of people can help with these things. So, and this is going to happen here. So tomorrow 11 o'clock, today 11 o'clock here, and tomorrow in the other track. So realize your potential, join us at 2300, and I guess now we're also running short of time. We'd like to offer you some possibilities for question as well. We'd like to thank, in the end, all of our courageous sources that have contributed to making WikiLeaks a success in the last years. All the investigative journalists that care about the stories and the material that cooperated with us. All the organizations supporting freedom of speech, open media, and truth and justice all over the world. I see some 4 people sitting here. They are a perfect example of ones that are riding in the front of this crowd. And all those that will maybe take a decision today to join us at 2300 to use their potential for making the world a little bit better. In that respect, finally, thanks for your attention. Have a great HAR. We also have t-shirts for this year and some other merchandise. Before I forget that, we have a village in the E area. We have around 250 t-shirts. Whoever
he was a soft dictator of Kenya. And when Kibaki got into power through a coalition of forces that were trying to clean up corruption in Kenya, they commissioned this report, spent about £2 million on this and an associated report. And then the government sat on it and used it for political leverage over Moi, who was the richest man, still is the richest man in Kenya. It's the holy grail of Kenyan journalism. So I went there in 2007 and we managed to get hold of this just prior to the election, the national election, December 28. When we released that report, we did so 3 days after the new president, Kibaki, had decided to pal up with the man that he was going to clean out, Daniel Arap Moi. So this report then became a dead albatross around President Kibaki's neck.
And I mean, to cut a long story short, word of the report leaked into Kenya, not from the official media, but indirectly. And in your opinion, it actually shifted the election.
Yeah, so this became front page of The Guardian and was then printed in all the surrounding countries of Kenya, in Tanzania and South African press. And so it came in from the outside. And that, after a couple of days, made the Kenyan press feel safe to talk about it. And it ran for 20 nights straight on Kenyan TV. Shifted the vote by 10%, according to a Kenya intelligence report, which changed the result of the election.
Wow. So your leak really substantially changed the world.
Yep.
We're going to just show a short clip from this Baghdad airstrike video. The video itself is longer, but here's a short clip. This is intense material, I should warn you.
Once you get on this open again, Roger. I see your element. You got about 4 Humvees out along this. You're clear. All right, firing. Line here. What's the state line out? Let me know when you have it. We'll shoot. Light them all up.
2 traffic, 260s.
Come on, fire. Hey, Roger. Keep shoot. Keep shoot.
Hey guys.
Hey Scott.
Great graduation party, sweetie.
What are you doing?
I'm taking a picture of these ribs with my new GS4. Have some...
to talk with Thomas C. Mountain. Thomas is an independent journalist living in Eritrea and writes often on the Horn of Africa. Thomas, welcome to The Edge.
Thanks, Max. Nice to be back.
All righty. Thomas C. Mountain, you are an expert on the Horn of Africa. So your thoughts on the recent WikiLeaks